Thank you for joining me for this analysis portion of the SAP Visual Intelligence sequence of videos. We will be using Visual Intelligence to connect to HANA. There are two ways to connect to HANA. One is the online mode and the other one is the offline mode. We'll be using the online mode in this video, which means that every time we ask for a particular graph in Visual Intelligence, it goes back to HANA and HANA computes the aggregate and sends it back to Visual Intelligence for display. With that, let's get started. Thank you for joining me for this video about SAP Visual Intelligence. We'll see how easy it is to access and analyze data. We have seen previously how to connect to SAP HANA. So let's go ahead and click on New Document and choose HANA Online. We'll talk about the other ways of accessing data in the next video. So for now, we'll go to HANA Online and we'll choose our server, which is i659.290.361.sapvcm.com. The HANA server instance is 00. The username is STS demo user. And the password is capital S, small letter AP, 12345. So that's SAP with the capital S, 12345. And I'm connected to the server here. We'll choose the STS analytic view and click on connect. So here we're connected live to HANA. Everything we do to analyze and slice the data is calculated for us in memory by SAP HANA somewhere in the cloud. And all we have here is the visualization of these data. For instance, here we could be looking at some of the measures. I see I have sales data. If I want to see the quantity sold by product line, well, let's just double click on line name here and double click on quantity. And Visual Intelligence is showing us this as a bar chart where I see for each product line the quantity I've sold, which is good. But if I wanted to see further detail, for instance, see that at the category level, well, I could double click on category and that would further break down this bar chart. That's the first way of doing it. But at any time during your analysis, you can use the back button. And we'll use this now just for the purpose of showing you another way of refining your analysis. I'll just drag an attribute here, the category name, and drop it onto the x-axis. So we're getting to the same place. It's just a different way of doing it. So now I see that I'm pretty strong in telecom, in particular the Motorola handsets are doing very well. From here, maybe I want to analyze discount and see which of those product categories are discounted. So again, I can double click on discount and that brings in the discount in this chart. Now right now, as you can see here, we're using a stacked column chart. Probably a column chart is more appropriate. So we have quantity sold and discount side by side, and I can drag the discount from the axis 1 to axis 2. So now I have two axes here, one for quantity and one for discount, which makes it much more readable. But once I have two measures, actually what I like to use very often is a scatter plot. So now we have one dot for every category. And as you can see, the legend right now is still at the line level. So what I can do is just remove the product line altogether. And now the legend is at the product category level. So for each dot, I see, for instance, if I click on this one, well, this is the Cisco switches. Now I can add an additional layer to this graph, which is by bringing the net sales. I'm going to size the bubbles based on the net sales, which is my sales volume. So the bigger the bubble, the more dollars of sales. So if I click on this one, I see Cisco switches is probably the category that I sell most, followed closely by the Motorola handsets. So that's good, but what about other countries, or what about other years? Well, that's where I like to use the split view, where we have at the top in a facet view all the dimensions of my dataset. So I can see the companies, I can see the cities, the countries. So if I wanted to see my graph but for North America, I can simply double click on North America, and I see that in North America I have 2 countries, Canada and USA. But more important, my data now is showing these for North America only. What if I wanted to see that for Europe? Well, let's go ahead and double click on Europe. Maybe I want to remove North America this time and look at these for Europe only. Now, wouldn't it be good if I could have both Europe and North America on the same graph? Well, let's add North America back again. So we have Europe and North America. And I'll go back to a full graph view with the visualize button here. And I can use the region this time to create multiple graphs. I can do that by column, like here, or by row. And I could use a combination. If I have a product line here, I could put the product line as a column. That might make a busy graph, so I'll skip these for now. But now I can compare visually Europe to North America and how the product categories are spread out. Now let's take a look here. We have some bubbles that are bunched up, and it's not very easy to read. One of the nice features of visual intelligence is I can just select those bubbles and use the filter button. And what this does is it excludes everything else. So now I'm zoomed in and I can see clearly for North America, well, this in the smaller product categories, appliances is doing pretty well. So that's a good way of zooming in into your data. Now I've got a view here that's interesting. I want to send that to the North American sales manager. I can click on save, and that creates a new snapshot, if you will. So you can leave breadcrumbs behind you as you go into your train of thoughts. You can take pictures of your analysis. So when you share this with other users, they'll be able to follow along your train of thought. So that's it for a first look at analysis with visual intelligence. I will invite you to look at the next video, which is about merging data and manipulating data to improve the quality of the data and the analysis that you derive from it. With that, I'll thank you for your attention.